And we're back to the platform studios here on Workers' Day at the Covenant Place Ikomo. I'm here with Dr. Biodun Adedipe, the Chief Consultant of Adedipe Associates. It's a pleasure to have you here, sir.
Thank you so very much for having me.
Yes, sir. Thank you for, I must say, as an economist also, thank you for a lot of, the data and the records that you set straight, on the Nigerian economy. And I think for the crowd out there, for the viewers at home, just understanding, how the economy operates, what drives it, what anchors it, and all of that. And I want to take you, on three major issues here today. The first one was really that idea that you put out there, of course, backed by data, that government is really not the biggest spender in the economy. Can you just explain to us exactly, what you mean by that?
All right. Thank you so very much. We have had this mindset over the years that until government puts out the money it wants to spend, that nothing will happen in our economic space.
Right.
So I then said, hey, wait a minute, how much does government spend? Federal and subnational. Right. So now when I put the data together, I found that the figure was about 10.47% of the size of our GDP. So then that makes clear to me that yes, if we look at the relationship in economics between spending, income, and saving, of course, the government doesn't save in terms of naira, all right? So if they don't save, that we can safely assume that all they earn naira-wise is what they spend. So if they do that, then it means I can look at what they spend as a reflection of their naira income. So if I place that then against the value created, which is the size of the GDP for the year, then I find that the percentage is 10.47%. So that simply told me that, hey, the government really, in terms of spending, is not the biggest spender. Actually, it is the private sector in terms of the value they create. Because if you measure GDP in terms of the value of goods and services, it means that was what people spent money on. For them to spend money, they must have earned it. So whichever way we measure it, therefore, it means that close to 89% of the value created was by private sector and household spending, not government spending. So I then, at that point, could relate it with the spending, the financing plan for the economic recovery and growth plan, which says 20% will come from the government itself and 80% from the private sector. So when I put those two together, it then tells me that, hey, I don't really need to wait for government to spend before I craft my strategy as a business person. So, and really, just like Dr. Gupta said in his presentation, and that has been my position over the years. If you do business in Nigeria, your business should be growing faster than the GDP of Nigeria. And if you're a global company, any country where you are, that should be your primary target. So that means that for me, all I want to know is what is the policy direction of government, not about their spending, but rather the commercial policy, the tariffs, and all of such issues. So once I take that, I can then factor it into my own plan and run.
So it's good that you mentioned that point of policy direction.
That's right.
Because so towards the end of your speech, you gave this issue about what is the policy anchor for Nigeria, and that of course your submission was that Nigeria perhaps does not have a policy anchor, comparing it to Malaysia, Indonesia, China, and the examples you gave. So my question then will be, first, what then would you call a document, like the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan? Or secondly, as you gave us some ideas of what should be our policy anchors and drivers, what should we prioritize? So two questions in one, and then
close. Now, the way it goes is this. Now, I recommended, and I still want to repeat that, that the policy anchor should be manufacturing. And the whole idea is that if you look at what we consume in Nigeria, largely we are consumers of, let me put it as, we are net importers of manufacturers. So to that extent, it means we consume a lot of things we don't produce here.
That's correct.
And if that is the case, and of course, having also encountered a situation where the government of another country in West Africa sub-region here came to market an automobile manufacturer in Nigeria, come to our country, we help you to set up and also help you to sell your car to Nigeria. Which means they recognize that the market is here. When you come to produce in a country, that way you create the jobs there. We then help you sell your vehicles to Nigeria. And this man is in Nigeria. With his factory in Nnewi. So now we've encountered so many such cases. So when you look at all that and the fact that everything people do all around the world, each time you have conversation with foreigners, they talk about Nigeria as a market they're targeting. So in which case, should we open ourselves to receive what they produce and create the jobs in their own countries, or begin to produce here and create jobs here? Which will solve our major problem. So that becomes the anchor.
That's the anchor.
Now, when you pick an anchor, it means every other thing you do will be tailored towards that. So how do we get manufacturing to work? That means we must invest in infrastructure that is manufacturing relevant. So when we build roads, it won't come to my town because I'm an advisor to the president or a minister. It will only come there if there's manufacturing activity that is taking place there or proposed for the location. So every investment in infrastructure will follow that anchor. Then your educational system, we do the same. You are now educating your citizens to fit the 21st century factory, so to say. So we are not waiting to catch up with other nations in robotics engineering and all of these issues about AI, artificial intelligence, all of them, machine learning, but rather we want to be also in that.
Based on a manufacturing policy anchor.
So everything we do, we go in that direction. So those now will be the drivers.
Thank you very much for expatiating on that. We understand that very much now. I'm here with Dr. Biodun Adedipe, the Chief Consultant of B. Adedipe Associates. Thank you very much for your time, sir.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me here.
The platform is powered by Covenant Christian Center.